Okay, you're live.
Hey.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm Amanda,
I'm Paige.
Shawndell, and Paige, and we are Servant Leadership Group 4, and this is our Week 12 project date. So, how has Joppa been going so far for you guys?
It actually went really well for me. The very first time when I yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
How was yours?
We actually worked together one day, Amanda, right?
Yep.
Which was good. Went fast.
Yes, that was fast.
Which day was that? Did you have to do did you guys do the outreach one? I know Amanda and I did.
Yeah.
I've done both. Like we did the cooler prep together, but then both days that I've done it, I still have one more day of 3 hours in the morning. But both days I did it. I did cooler prep in the morning and then came back in the afternoon and did the outreach. So it was good.
I've done 2 Saturdays, a Sunday morning, and then I went last week for the outreach, and I go tomorrow for the outreach.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
It was good, interesting. It was not what I expected at all.
I think the outreach was the most eye-opening
thing.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Sorry, guys. I'm pulling up my rubric again. It disappeared on me.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, the outreach was everything that you had kind of explained it to be before, I feel like, Amanda. You know, when you were saying that you don't think about certain things until you're in that atmosphere, like, oh, well, we had 2 people that weren't even on our list, and we asked if they wanted particular items, and they said, no, we can't have a fire, anything that takes a fire to cook, because we don't want to draw attention to the fact that we are under the bridge because we're getting out, and it's just like, you know, all these things you don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, you know, all these meals and stuff that we package, if we've ever done like a Friday, I don't know where those go or who those go to, because I did a Friday with another course, and we had packaged all these meals, but you needed to be able to boil water and cook the raw meat and all of that. And we had 5 or 6 packages of meat left on Sunday when we were done with our outreach, because they said we can't cook it.
Right.
Did you go to one that was, so like when I did my outreach, it was to a lot of people who would like come from literally tens living under bridges to now being focused into like apartments or affordable apartments for them, or kind of like trailer park houses. That's kind of like where a lot of our like meat and stuff went.
Sure. We, my route was the green route. It's kind of Southeast 14th, but most of it was camps in the woods. So we went back, we parked wherever we could on the road or in a parking lot and walked back and tried to find their camps, and then took them back to the cars. We met a couple people behind some stores or in some store or gas station parking lots, but those are people that, you know, they travel out and around during the day, and they're either looking for work or, you know, having coffee or whatever, working.
Right.
So, yeah, but a lot of my route was actually in the camps.
I did the green route also, and then I did a blue route, and neither one of them were like yours, Paige. They were both like Amanda's, where they were actually going green route, and then the blue route was focused more along like the railroad tracks and the river and all of that. So that was intense. I bet. It's really hard to see.
Yeah, especially when they're so thankful for so little. You know, we barely we had a lot of people that weren't on our list because a few camps had recently moved because of the flooding. And so we lost a couple of camps there. So they had picked up and moved somewhere else and we didn't know where. But then there were new people now that weren't on our list.
Right.
It was probably about half and half of people on our list or not. So we went to a few houses. Most of them were like living in an RV or something, like in the backyard of somebody's house.
Right.
But, yeah, that was the same for me.
Yeah. But it was, yeah, it was just really different. I don't know. I didn't think they were going to like keep track of people like that. Like they were having them fill out forms and we like took attendance.
Yeah.
When they came to the car, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just kind of going to be like a little bit of a free for all. I mean, you throw a bunch of stuff in your car and you give what you can. You know, you give a little bit to everybody.
Yeah.
But the hot meals they gave to the people who we took attendance for, and then we had some left over, so we ended up going back to one of the larger camps, and we gave the rest of our hot meals there.
Yeah.
And none of those people were on the list. So
yeah, they never told anybody I was with, never told anyone no. We ran into plenty of people that were not on the list, and they just encouraged them to reach out to Joppa. Or a lot of people said, I used to be at this location, now I'm at this location, so I might not be on your list, your route list. Right. Or I kind of fell off with Joppa, I need to get back in touch with them, but we still gave them a meal and said, like, take what you need, type of thing.
Right.
So,
we had quite a bit of that too, like when they saw that like people were walking as this program, like how do we sign up? So we'd end up like giving them like sheets of paper that they can like.
Yeah.
But it was super interesting to me. Like the very first stop that we went to, kind of the main guy that was taking us around, he warned us that like this couple was very kind of like in a sense rude. Like they expected a lot. And so he like took like an overabundance of stuff. And the guy was like, hey, like, could you maybe like leave back like a meat package instead of taking 4 of them? Or like, because he's like, you know, like this is our first stop and we have to go to a bunch of other places. He was just kind of like super like snarky in his remarks and being like, oh, well, I thought we were your last stop and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, kind of was, I don't know. It was interesting to see like the different ways like people interacted. Like some were like, praise the Lord, like you're here giving me food and I didn't think I'd be here yesterday. And
right.
And then there's some people that really try to take too much and not leave enough for everybody else.
Right, right.
The people who were really thankful on my route were the first 3 and then the very last stop, because we did have some extra stuff and they happened to be in a house. They had a property, so they were able to cook. So they took the rest of the meat because we didn't. No one wanted the raw food.
Right.
So, yeah.
I really forget about, I guess they have a specific day of the, I don't know if it's the beginning of the month. I think that's what it is for like pet food delivery, but I ran into a lot of animals. There was one who lived in a camp down by the river where the flooding was, and he had 4 large dogs.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what? You know, he said, yeah, I'm running low on food, but it was the middle of the month, you know?
Right.
So you forget about things like that these people also, some of them have pets and forget to write that down, or, you know, so it's interesting. The Joppa says, okay, specifically, what do you need? Oh, you need dog food. Oh, and you need a pair of socks. And then you need shoes, what size? We'll try and get you that when it comes in. So or mail. We delivered mail to someone.
Oh, wow.
That came to Joppa.
That's kind of nice to like be able to like request things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more intricate than I thought it was.
Especially more expensive stuff like batteries and
bug spray.
bug spray. Oh my goodness. We
Yeah.
have so many requests for bug spray, and they're like,
Really?
as much as you can give. And
Yes.
They almost need those little tiki torches that you light and
Yes.
keep all the bugs away.
yeah.
And you know, with the flooding, bugs have been astronomical. Yeah. But it's neat to see how high people's spirits are, even in those situations. I ran across so many people that were just thankful and said, you know, God bless you, and just shook your hand and were really nice and uplifting and in a better mood than, say, I was, you know?
Right.
I'm hot, I'm thirsty, you know? Who knows how long they've been going without food or water or enough to eat and enough to drink, and they're, you know, doing in a better place mentally than sometimes we are when we have everything we need.
Right.
Definitely leaving after doing the outreach, like, makes you, I don't know, it made me appreciate more of like what I have versus like what I did before.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're just so used to having it, so it's not as big of a deal. But then until you actually see all these people that don't have it, this is very.
Yeah, exactly. For the rubric, do we just have to go through and say, I mean, I looked through the category and I'm still not at 15 hours, so I'm in the middle where I've completed 10 to 12 hours and I've taken pictures. I mean, I'm pretty much straight down that center column.
Okay.
Are you looking at the rubric for self-assessment stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've completed all 15
I'm
of mine.
confident we'll complete our project. We just haven't, you know, done it yet.
Right.
What did you take pictures of? I just took pictures of like inside of the actual Joppa shop. Yeah.
It's kind of awkward to try and take pictures, but I was trying to like inconspicuously. I did get a really cool picture that I'll just have to post it to you guys so you can see it. But there was a gal that we went to deliver food to someone and they never showed up, but we saw somebody standing on the corner. So we walked over there and we are like, hey, we're with Joppa. And she's like, oh, awesome. I used to do Joppa. I don't anymore. I just moved. So they met us there and she had a little dog. And so I held the dog while she was getting food. And so they took a picture of me and her dog was so cute. But I have pictures of like what the car looks like full of food, one of the camps, some people even, you know. I just tried to get a general picture of the experience.
Sure.
No, that's good. Yeah, when I was on my outreach one, I like didn't know like what I could and could not take pictures of because I was like, well, I don't want to awkwardly take a picture of them and then like get upset over it. You know
their
what I mean?
misfortune. Yeah, that's why it's awkward.
Right. So I just mainly took pictures of the inside of the actual like Joppa shop and like how the food is set up and like the counter and like.
That's good because I don't have those. That's really good.
Yeah, I was going to take more pictures this Sunday because I do the morning packaging meals and in the afternoon outreach.
That'd be a good idea.
I just kind of wanted to feel out a Sunday experience before I was like, hey, let me take all these pictures of people who might not want their picture taken.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, you would ask before taking pictures of people.
Yes.
But, I've also noticed that they can be weary because there had been a lot of the person who ran my route had told us that there were a ton of evictions going on in the last year or so. And the people in the camps started to get away from Joppa because Joppa knows where they are. And so sometimes they can fall under the impression that Joppa is telling the authorities where all these camps are. And he was very, very upset about that because that's not what Joppa is about. I mean, we're about helping people and getting them the supplies they need, not getting them kicked out of where they are. But
on high alert, I can tell, you know.
Yeah, well, when you don't have shelter. I mean, it's goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You cannot be comfortable and secure if you don't have a home and you don't have access to food and water and you don't have a bathroom.
Right.
Like, it's just, you're always on high alert because you don't have that safe place to live.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so I think collectively we'll have a good collage of pictures to put in our PowerPoint. Do we want to actually meet up to do the PowerPoint and paper, or like, do we want to volunteer to do one and one? I mean, how do you guys want to do that?
Do you want to talk about it when we're done with live?
Yeah.
All right. Let's answer these questions first. Let's answer the questions, and then we can get off the live broadcast and work all that out.
What question are we on, or are we still?
This first one, what specific service are you providing for your community partner? Yeah, so we're going out and helping to bring supplies to homeless in Des Moines.
Right.
And we've talked a lot about our experience so
Yeah.
far. Let's see. How many hours have you logged so far? I have one more long day. Yeah.
I have 12 hours done.
Yeah, of
Mine done.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm probably at like 10, 9 or 10. Yeah, I have one more outreach session, and that's tomorrow. So, yeah.
And then, Paige, you're done, right?
Yep, I've completed all mine.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. What are you learning? Joys, challenges, insights. I think we talked about that.
I think that's kind of what we talked about.
Yeah. How is our project expressing and developing your servant leadership skills? Well, we're serving. I mean, we're serving the community. We're serving people in need. So
it's a direct connection with empathy for someone in a situation unlike yours.
Right. Yeah, we get to see some different lives than our own.
Right.
Different
Definitely.
experiences.
Definitely.
Really eye-opening.
It has been super eye-opening. Like, I don't think so doing like the cooler prep and all of that, like, it's fun just because like you're getting everything ready for the next day for it to like go out to these people, but until you actually like truly see like the areas that these people are in, or like who and what type of people it's going to, and like how they react, like I feel like I truly didn't get the full experience until I did the outreach and saw the reactions and like the places that they lived in and kind of saw what environment they were in.
Exactly.
It doesn't hit home until you see someone in that situation and what such a small, shampoo, deodorant, things like that, such a minuscule object in our lives, what a big impact that has on someone that does not have it or have access to it or can't afford it, or,
Yeah. Toilet paper.
Right.
That was our biggest request, was toilet paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And water.
Yeah. Well, it was a hot day last Sunday, and it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
And people were needing water. We had 3 cases of water in our car, and we gave out every last bottle.
Yeah.
Had to really like ration it. So it was tough because another challenge, I guess, was the people who aren't on the list technically get less because they're not registered. So to the people that were on the list, we gave out 4 bottles of water a person. And to the people who weren't on the list, we only gave out 1 or 2, depending, where we were on the route. And we found that earlier in the route, we had we had given out a little too much.
Yeah.
Many people, and then we're halfway through, and we're like, well, we're 3/4 of the way through our supplies.
See, that was the hardest thing I thought too, was rationing.
Yeah, and how do you tell somebody no? It's so hard to say no.
Right. As we were like on the outreach thing, I kind of like was thinking about it, since obviously like we did the same thing. We gave out way too much at the beginning, and then getting towards the end, you're like, oh my God, like what are these people gonna get? And I kind of thought about like how, like obviously like when people send in requests, how easier it would be if they would be like, hey, next time can I have this, 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 kind of make a grocery list, and then that way like have stuff in a bag for them, and it's just like ready to be given. That way they do get the stuff that they need and want at that particular time. And like, let's say the last stop doesn't get any meat or protein or anything that a body needs to survive. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. I think it also is very much dependent on what the grocery stores have to give. I noticed, and I asked, Trader Joe's gives a lot, Hy-Vee gives a lot. And it's like sometimes you have more tomatoes than you know what to do with, or more spoiled, half-spoiled strawberries than you know what to do with. And it's like, I hope somebody likes tomatoes, because everybody's getting 3 packages of tomatoes and nobody's getting bananas, or everybody's getting spinach and nobody's getting, eggs.
Right.
It's just like supply and demand again for whatever the grocery stores have to give.
Right. And it's seasonal. I mean, tomatoes are crazy right now. I mean, everybody's garden is blowing up with tomatoes.
Right.
And so even people are donating, and then the grocery stores have way too many, and the farmers markets are donating, and it's like there's just too many to even know what to do with. So if you don't like tomatoes,
right,
do you just eat them because you're hungry, or do you save them for somebody who might want them? We have 3 coolers full of tomatoes.
Oh my gosh, that is so many.
Yeah, I think that was the day that we did it together. It was like more tomatoes, more, and all kinds of big tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, everything you can think of.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It was a lot. And I did the outreach the next day, and we're like trying to find a place for these tomatoes, because they got more donations on Sunday morning when we're there packing up the cars. This guy in a pickup truck pulls up with his whole bed is full of tomatoes and cucumbers. And we're like, we don't even have a cooler to put them in. Like, everything's full. And so we were just in plastic bags and throwing them in the back of our cars. And I ended up driving separate, because my whole entire trunk was filled with toilet paper, tomatoes, and cucumbers.
Oh my God.
And we're like giving them out like candy, like take it, it's parade candy.
We don't want it.
Right. Bad, because they didn't sell them at the farmer's market the day before, and so they've sat out in the hot sun.
Right.
And now it's like, I'm sure he just threw them in the back of his truck, and so some of them are bruised and some of them, are kind of mushy, but we tried to pick out the bad ones and only give the good ones. But he's like, my family took what we can eat of it, and like, here's the rest. I can't sell it anymore. So he's like, I've got a whole new fresh batch next week.
Oh my gosh.
Take it. And we were sending them, we started sending some cars instead of going straight out to the outreach. We sent some cars to D-Mark and to some of the churches to give out those tomatoes and cucumbers, because it was just
nice.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we concluded our 12 recap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, signing off then.